The 12th of August, Rabbi Levitt. Are we doing Gemora today?
Doing we're doing Bava Metzia.
Okay.
Oh, which stuff again? I think I just put that one
Up
away.
Olive 21.
21. Okay. Be right back.
Okay, how you doing, Lou?
Baruch Hashem, Rabbi, I'm doing well. How about you?
With Hashem. Okay, so let's see. What are we? Let's. We're right now. We're up to Kavayim. Kavayim b'shmona Amos. Mahu.
Okay, let's see.
It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven narrow lines above where the wide lines begin. It's the last word in the line. First word in the line is Amos.
Okay. Now I've got to find it in the English.
Okay, Mayor, we're starting from Kavayim b'shmona Amos. Mahu. This can be found when I say 6 lines, 6 narrow lines above where the wide lines begin. And this is all on Chaf Aleph Amid Aleph.
Okay.
And it's the word Kavayim is the last word on the line. The first word on the line is Amos.
If you've got an art scroll, it's 21A4,
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Lou.
top of the right-hand column.
Okay, Lou, would you like to start off the reading?
Yes.
Right?
Cloud spread over 8 amos. What is the law? Kav ba'arba amos ta'ama mai. What is the principal reason that a person abandons a kav of kernels spread over 4 amos? Mishum dinafish tarvaihu. It is because of the effort needed to collect them. Oh, it's a question. Is it because the effort needed to collect them is too great? V'chol shekain ka bayim bishmona. Therefore, even more so, if it's 2 kavs spread over 8 amos. Kevan dinafisha tir chayhu tefei. Since the effort needed to collect them is even greater. Mafkar lahu. The owner renounces his ownership of them. Well, I think we pointed out the other day, Phil pointed out that when you double the measurement of the size, you're actually doing more than doubling the area. When you go from 4 square, that's 16 square amos, to 8 is 64 square amos.
Oh, Yeah, that was the way Tosus understood in the second teretz that he gave.
Right.
First teretz he didn't understand like that.
So based on that teretz, it's you can understand the kol shekain that if it was too much trouble to go around 16 square amos, it's definitely going to be too much trouble to go around 64.
Yeah, I mean, even if you say he's going to need to go around 32, 32 is twice as much as 16. Also, it's not. Yeah.
But it's not as clear in that case because remember we're also increasing the amount of produce.
Well, if you think about it like this, and that was really Tosa's question. If he's not going to go and get one kav that's spread out of 4 square amos, so he said, why would we ask a question about? Let's say he's going to do half of that job. The Gemara's first question was, what about half of a kav in 2 amos? So instead of having roughly half the space, let him do half of a job. So he said, no, he doesn't want to do half a job. Doesn't want to do half a job. So he's not going to start. If he can't do the whole job, he won't do it. Won't even do half of it either. But maybe if he had only half of a job to do altogether, and that would finish the job, maybe he would do it. That was the Gemara's question, according to the first teretz. So now we're saying, granted that he won't do one kav and 4 amos because it's too much. Why did it, on the it's really sort of like an imtim salomar. If we say we don't know really why it was that he didn't go and go back and take it, but we're saying if the reason was because it was just too much trouble, it was too much trouble to go back and get one kav that's spread out of 4 amos. So what would we say about getting 2 kav over 8 amos? If we just say that it's just twice the area, not like the second teretz of Tosus. It's a double job. He didn't even want to do half. He didn't even want to do half that job. All the more so he's not going to do 2 times that job. That's clear. If the reason that he didn't do it is because it was too much tircha, this is 2 times the amount of tircha. Even though you get 2 times the amount of kav, but he didn't even want to do 1 to 1. It was even too much trouble for him to do 1. So the kol shekain would seem to be very clearly apply over here too, even according to the first teretz of Tosus. Okay. Okay, so that's the first side that the Gemora has. Kavayim b'shmona amos mahu. What's the din? Kaba arba amos taimamai. Let's say what was the reason? If we say the reason was mishum de nafesh terchayu, so kol shekain kavayim b'shmona amos came in the nafesh terchayu tfei mafkilahu. The Gemara itself says it's even more of a tircha to get 2 kav over 8. So you want to kind of Lou that will only be going according to Tosa's second teretz. I'm saying we'll go according to Tosa's first teretz too.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't think it's 100% clear that he wouldn't say, well, it's twice as much work, but I'm getting twice as much produce. At some point, he might say, that's a lot of produce. But if it's 4 times as much work and twice as much produce, kol shekain.
Okay. Let's see. Does Rashi say something over here? No, Rashi says nothing. Okay, so let's go. So that's one perspective that the Gemora says over here to this question, and there's another perspective that the Gemora has. O Dilma. Want to continue reading, or we'll pass on to Meir?
What's your preference, Mayor?
Well, I guess I can read. Okay, so it says, Odilma, or perhaps, comments that principal reason one abandons a kav spread over 4 amot. Okay, mishum delo hashivi. Oh, because they're not important. Wow, not enough. Okay, to collect them. The kabayim bishmona amot. However, with the case of 2 kavs spread over 8 amot, kevan dehashivi, or dehashive, they are significant. And lo, mafkar lahu. Okay, so the owner doesn't renounce his ownership of them. So what, one over 4 isn't enough, but 2 over 8 is enough.
In other words, here we're saying maybe the reason why he didn't go back to get a 1 and 4 is because it's only 1 kav that he's working to get. So it's chashivi. It's not a significant amount, and a substantial amount to work for. But over in this case, we're talking about working in order to get 2 kav. Kavayim is 2 kav.
Mm-hmm.
So that's twice the amount. So that maybe he says, oh, that's a substantial amount to work for, and therefore I'll do the work. He's not worried. He's more machshiv. He's more values. It's more important to him the issue of how much grain he can get for the work that he does. In the first perspective, he's basically a lazy guy, and he's trying to get away with as little work as he possibly can do. So we said, oh, if he's not going to bother to get 1 kav in 4 amas because it's too much work, so all the more so he's not going to bother to for even more kav, twice the amount, but it's twice the area. So it's even more tircha. So this guy is a lazy guy. He's not going to want to do that. He's not going to want to do that. But now we're talking about a guy who's more industrious of a guy. The reason why he didn't take the reason why I didn't take 1 and 4 is because it was only 1 that he was going to be working for. That's not worth his bother. Oh, but you tell me 2? Oh, so even though it's more work in order to get 2 over spread out over 8, but it's 2 that I would be getting. So that's chashiv. That's a substantial amount. That's worth working for. He's not somebody who's afraid of working. So we said, if that was his reason why he didn't, can you hear me still?
Yeah. Oh, what happened?
No, now we can't. Now you're red.
No, now
Okay.
you're okay again.
But in this, in other words, the Gemara is presenting 2 perspectives. We don't know why this person didn't go back to get the 1 and 4. We don't know. We have 2 possibilities. Either first possibility is that it's because it was too much work for him. So we said, according to that, there's no question over here. He's not going to want to work to get this. It's even more work. Because his concern is working too much. But the second guy, his concern was not working too much. His concern is that it's not worth the bother of his work because it was only 1 kav. Oh, but now we got 2 kav, so that's something more substantial. He'll perhaps he'll be interested. Perhaps he'll be interested in that. Okay, so that's the all that so far is just fleshing out what is the Gemara's question. So let's see what the Gemara's answer is to this. Oh, now Gemara's not going to give an answer to that. Now the Gemara's going to bring another question. And it's going to bring another question and another question. And then it's going to say, after all this, teku.
Oh, boy.
All right, should I read?
Yeah, go ahead, Lou. You can read.
Oh, just a second. I'll be back in a second. I had to slam the door because otherwise it wouldn't. Okay. Okay. So we don't. So we're not going to really get an answer to any of these questions, but we're asking the questions anyway.
All right, so Kav Shum Shamin Ba'arba Amos Mahu. A kav of sesame seeds spread out over 4 amos. What is the law? Kav Ba'arba Amos Tama Mai. What is the principal reason that a person abandons a kav of grain kernels spread over 4 amos? Mishum delo chashivi. Because it's not significant. The shum shamin kevan dachashivi. If so, then in the case of sesame seeds, since they are more valuable than grain, lo mafkar lahu. Perhaps the owner does not renounce ownership of them. Odilma, or maybe mishum de nafish tarvaihu, because of the effort needed to collect them, because the effort needed to collect them is too much. B'chol shekain shum shemin. If so, it follows all the more so in the case of sesame seeds, because they're very tiny and harder to collect. Kevan denafish tarvaihu tefei. Since the effort needed to collect them is greater, mifkar lahu. He renounces ownership of them.
Okay. So that's the story with Shum Shemin.
So it's the same thing. If it's the significance of the product, then he's going to go back for the better quality product. If it's the amount of work, he's not going to go back, even though it's better quality.
Okay, so if it's exactly like you say, then there would be no reason for the Gemara to ask this second question.
Right. That's a good point. Why is it asking? Why is it posing this? What's the chiddush? I don't see the chiddush.
Let's see, we got a Rashi over here. Shum Shemin. Want to read there?
Okay, 1 second. This is Rashi.
Yes, it's the second to the last Rashi on the page.
Okay, let's see if I can read it. Shushamim. Dakin.
Right.
Mem Aleph Dalet.
Dakin Me'od.
Oh, Me'od. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, V'yesh Torach V'kibolan Yoter Machtim Aval D'mehen Yakrin. I'm not sure what Dakin is.
What about which word?
The first word, Dakin.
Oh, Dakin.
Says to me, oh, the dak is
Dak.
They're less valuable.
They're finer.
They're finer.
Smaller, finer.
Okay, very, very much so, I guess.
Very much so, yeah. Yeah, everybody knows what a sesame seed looks like.
Yes, that's true. Okay, very much so. Let's see, V'yesh Torchin. So it's much burden. The Kibolan, what, to collect them?
Yeah.
Okay, so to more so, Yoter Mechamtin. Mechitin. Oh, more so than wheat. Okay. But the Aval, the Mayhem Ikarim, but they're more valuable.
So I think what the Gemora's question is over here is, in other words, there's a certain standard of tircha and a certain standard of chashivas when it comes to chitim, when it comes to gathering wheat kernels. They're right. Let's call it 5. The tircha is a 5 on a scale of 10, and the chashivas is also 5. Let's say. Okay, so we didn't know whether this guy is worried more about the 5 of chashivi or the 5 of tircha. So we didn't know what to answer, what the din would be. We don't know. So now, when we go over here to shumshamin, it's true. The two factors are the same. You got the same two factors of chashivi and tircha, but they're magnified, says Rashi. Now we're talking about tircha of 10, and we're talking about chashivas of 10. The Shum Shemin is a 10, both in terms of the difficulty involved in gathering it, but also it's a 10 in terms of the value that amount of tircha will gain you. So that we don't know about. All we knew before was all we were dealing with is we were dealing with nickels and dimes. Now we're talking about dollar bills. So we don't know. It's a different ball game. So that's why the Gemora is asking over here about Shum Shemin. Even though the two factors are the same, but they're magnified very much.
But so what? It's still proportional. It's still the same underlying question.
No, I'm saying like this. Let's flesh it out another step. So you got a guy. Let's say like this. You got a guy. Let's say in terms of the grain. Let's say in terms of the grain. So you got a guy that's he says that the grain of 1 and 4. I mean that's our given. Our given is 1 and 4. The Mishnah tells us he's not going back over. He's not going back to get. We don't know why. Is it because of it's too much tircha, or do we say it's because it's not chashav enough? So let's say for the sake of the discussion that it's too much tircha. Let's say it's too much tircha. Okay, it's too much tircha. That's why he didn't go back. Okay, it's too much tircha. But we still going to ask about Shum Shemin. Why are we going to ask about Shum Shemin? Because even though it's much more tircha, but it's much more valuable. So maybe this guy, even though it was too much tircha to get a 5, even though it was too much tircha to get a kav of chitim spread out over 4 amas, but when it comes to Shum Shemin, he says, "Oh, this is really chashuv though. This is chashuv. This is for me. This is worth it to get the Shum Shemin. We just because we answered even if we would answer the first question about the chitim, it doesn't answer for us to answer the question of the Shum Shemin.
Because
and the other way around too. If you would say that a guy would go after really, I should have used the example of 2 kav of chitim over 8 amos. If we say that the reason why he doesn't take 1 kav in 4 of chitim is because it's not chashuv enough, but what's his name? But when it comes to 2 kav over 8, he's going to go for it because 2 kav is chashuv. Maybe that's only because of the fact that it's chashuv and it's more tircha. But when you compare the tircha of gathering up chitim to the tircha that it takes to gather up shumshamin, it's a whole different ball game. And therefore, even though the chitim, even though the shumshamin are much more valuable, but he says I can't go. I can't. That tircha is too. That's out of my ballpark. That's out of my ballpark. So
the question is he going to change sides, so to speak?
Yeah, because even though the chashivas is I'm saying twice as much, let's say, but the tircha, twice as much tircha is too much for him. It's a whole different level of tircha.
So if we answered one way and the other way, then we would say that he changes sides. If not, we would say he doesn't change sides, meaning that if the work is a significant factor, it's always a significant factor in every case, as opposed to saying, no, the work is only a significant factor in some cases, but you can cross the red line, so to speak, and have it change to be that the chashivas is the more significant factor.
Yeah, I was saying the other way around. I was saying even if we say two kav of 8 in chitim, the reason why he got it was because it was chashuv. That was together with the fact that there was that amount of tircha because it was just chitim that he's going to bend over and take. But to go and try and bend over and take shumshamim, even though they're twice as valuable, he just like you said very very well. You said that crosses my red line. That I don't do. Right. That I don't do. So even though you'll tell me, but it's twice, you're going to make twice as much. It's worth twice as much. He says, yeah, but I don't bend over to pick up sesame seeds that are on the ground. I don't do. Even though when it came to the wheat, he said, 2 kav over 8, that I will do. Even though he didn't do 1 kav over of spread out over 4. He said I wasn't chashuv enough.
So in other words, we posed the question, why do we need sesame seeds? We already have wheat. And the answer is we don't need sesame seeds in and of themselves. But if we have both questions together and we get answers to each, that gives us new information.
Like you said before, even though we answered the case of 2 and 8 when it comes to wheat, that he'll go after it because it's chashuv. But we said when it comes to sesame seeds, that he maybe even though they're more chashuv, they're twice as chashuv. But the tircha is over the line for him.
Right. Okay. Good. I'm good.
Okay. Okay, that was fine. Now we got another question though. We want to know about kav tamori. ba'arba amos.
Kav tamare ba'arba amos. One who finds a kav of dates spread over 4 amos, square, and my English says square, or a kav of pomegranates spread over 4 amos. What is the law? Should it be presumed that the owner will return for them, or has he abandoned them? The Gemora explains, Kav ba'arba amos tama mai. What is the reason that a person abandons a kav of grain kernels spread over 4 amos? Mishum delo chashivi. Is it because they are not significant enough to warrant returning them? Kav tamare ba'arba amos. If so, it follows that in the case of a kav of dates spread over 4 amos, kav rimone ba'arba amos nami, or a kav of pomegranates spread over 4 amos also, kevan delo chashivi, since they are not significant, mafkar lehu, he renounces ownership. Odilma, or maybe mishum de nefisha tarchaihu, because of the effort needed to collect them being too great, the kav tamare ba'arba amos, but a kav of dates over 4 amos, the kav rimone ba'arba amos, or a kav of pomegranates over 4 amos, kevan delo nafish tarvaihu, since the effort needed to collect them is not too great because of their larger size, lo mafkir lehu, he does not give up hope. What is the law? Teku. So now we have our question magnified. Why do we need this dates and pomegranates? We already asked about the sesame seeds and contrasted that with the grain,
right?
To give us the depth of understanding. Why do we now need to add another case?
Right. Correct. Good question. So what's the answer? Think about these 3 categories now. We've got chitim, and we've also discussed now already shumshimin, and now we're introducing a 3rd case. So you want to know, why do we need this 3rd case? So let's think about why it was that, how did we explain why we need the 2nd case? Why do we need the 2nd case? Because we said that when it comes to bending over and getting shumshimin off the ground, we said, oh, that's over the line. It's not just a matter of nafish tirchayu. It's not simply that it's a lot of tircha, just like weed is. It's much more tircha. Oh, so maybe maybe he's the type of a person, he's not going to do that even though the shumshimin are much more expensive. So now, what could be the reason why we would have a further question to ask over here when it comes to dates and pomegranates? How would we think about dates and pomegranates? What are their physical properties in comparison to the 2 that we have so far?
Well, I mean, it says clearly in the Odoma that they're much bigger. So therefore, they're a lot easier to collect. Sesame seeds were so difficult because they're very small. Wheat is, I guess, in the middle.
Kab rimoni ba'arba amos mahu. Kab ba'arba amos tamamai mishum delo chashivi. Kab tamari ba'arba amos. Kab rimoni ba'arba amos nami. Kevin lo chashivi. Mafkiluhu. Dilma mishum de nafish tirchayu. Kab tamari ba'arba amos. Kab rimoni ba'arba amos. Kevin lo nafish tirchayu. Mafkiluhu. Okay, I'm not sure it's so clear from the language of the Gemora, but let's take a look at the Rashi. Rashi's going to tell us why. Mary, you want to read Rashi?
Well, the truth is, I'm going to have to excuse myself. It's after 11:30.
Oh, it's too late already. Oh, okay, fine.
Oy, okay, tomorrow.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah, Yeshikaya.
Shkoyach.
Have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody.
Okay.
You.
Okay.